Yeah, take the mic. Take the mic. Use your voice. Yeah, mic is there.
A very warm good morning to everybody present here. Myself, Riya Prasad, the head girl of Global Indian School Ajman. On behalf of Global Indian School Ajman, I would like to welcome Padma Bhushan Shri Nambi Narayan, renowned scientist, Advocate Sri Inni Krishnan, renowned lawyer, Tumbe Modin, President of Tumbe Gulf Medical University, Mr. Mathukutti, Chairman of NTV UAE, and other respected guests. I'd like to request Nambi Narayan sir to inaugurate our event by cutting the ribbon. Welcome everybody.
Standing for a long time, you will be able Yeah, sure, sit down. Okay.
I'll wait for you, sir.
Yeah, sure.
We are coming to.
We're going to have lunch with you. Yeah, we will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thanks. Yeah, sure. Got it. Okay, where do we start?
We'll start from here.
Morning, what's your name?
My name is Ajman and I'm from Sharding School, and today I'll be presenting our group's project here. This is basically a rover. It's made for finding life in other planets. On other planets, you will find life. It has a lot of sensors like the humidity sensor, the temperature sensor, and there's an ultrasonic sensor here to detect the obstacles and then avoid it. So if some obstacle comes here, it will just turn down. And it can collect samples through this tube. It's like a vacuum. We will collect dust or any small rock samples. And we have a claw here
To collect more solid samples.
big samples. It is basically autonomous except the arms.
The arms can be controlled by
Arms
remote.
can be controlled by the remote control. And the movement and all, it's automatic. It's done by an ordinary.
It works on command or what?
It runs on this code.
You can't have completely automatic. You should give a command, no?
Completely automatic except the arms and the back.
Yeah. It's all automatic device.
Come on, sit down. Automatic means what? Automatic means it has to work on some command, right?
It runs on the code.
It runs on commands already
No, the command is already pre-programmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I have a feeling you should have some commanding system. I don't know. You just
The commanding system, we can just change the mode.
no. You can't pre-program all the command. For example, that is I don't know. You have put sensors. The sensors will certainly work, right?
Yeah. When we turn it on, it will everything, all the sensors.
Where from you got these imaginations?
It's inspired from a movie called Model.
It's from a movie called
What Disney?
This model is an inspiration of that character.
That is good. So when do you think that we will do this in this country?
Next 10-20 years.
Wait 20 years. Is it 20 years?
10 years.
No, but where do we stand now? Where are we in terms of implying this or executing this in one of our missions? In this, you can be frank. You can tell whatever you want.
It can be done.
You can definitely do it. You can make it even more complicated with the current technology. Since the budget was limited, we couldn't get any, complicated sensors.
gadgets we could.
And at the time,
Is it a working model?
Yes,
Yeah,
the
it's a
working
working
model.
You didn't show me any working.
the battery is connected right now.
Slow. No, don't dismantle it, Armai.
No, it's just to connect the battery. It's inside there.
How many of you were doing this?
We all
Four of you.
Yeah.
All the four of you came?
Yes.
Now, since the temperature is set to 30 degrees, and since the room temperature is right now 24 degrees, it don't really respond to the command. The temperature needs to be set around the target temperature is set around 30 degrees. Yeah, we kept it so that right now only we need the target temperature over here. So since this part is straight goes into the else function.
Okay.
Yeah, so only the obstacle avoidance.
Which class you are studying?
11.
11th. So one more year to go, 12th. And afterwards, what do you want to do?
Computer science, computer engineering,
Computer
software.
Artificial intelligence. Good, thanks. Interesting.
Photo with them. Take photo with them.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, judges. It's a real honor to be here. So here, the first thing you might be thinking about when you see
Why
this.
don't you introduce yourself? Who are you?
Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm Abhinav Sridhar. I'm from grade 10 from SIJ. We are all from SIJ.
I'm Yadnath Surendran from grade 10. We both are in the same
Same.
I'm Sri Sri from grade 9.
He's
Okay.
So, sir, the first thing you might have thought, of course, you might know this, but let's assume that you don't. The first thing you might have thought about is, what is this green substance? What are we working with? Of course, its relevance in space is huge than we expect. So what is this green substance? What is the need for it? Why are we even using this green substance to experiment it? Why can't we use other green substances? So that's the main point we are talking about in this experiment. What is the significance of this particular green substance I'm talking about, and how it can be used in space, and how it is already being used in space, and what's its significance? We're going to explain it. My teammates are going to explain more about it. So first I'm going to hand it over to Srihari. He'll explain about this green substance I'm going to talk about.
As he said, I'm Srihari. So, chlorella have many effects in space. Like astronauts can use it for oxygen and as a food source. It has both iron and vitamin E and vitamin B12. And it can be used for oxygen and everything like that. And it has both chlorophyll A and B. Now I'll hand it on to Ken for the presentation.
Chlorella, the oxygen is radiating space radiation. What is chlorella? Chlorella is an algae. It has the highest chlorophyll content of any algae. Chlorella also multiplies rapidly and requires only carbon dioxide, water and sunlight and a small amount of minerals. Chlorella has many uses. Use in space and nutritional use. Benefits of chlorella in space. Chlorella multiplies rapidly and only requires carbon dioxide, water and sunlight. Due to the features of chlorella is very useful for astronauts. Chlorella can be used in space for producing oxygen and also as a food
It is used for making oxygen, is it?
Yes. Yeah, that's it. And so it's a food supplement. It's a food supplement. It contains vitamin B12, vitamin E, and iron. That's the highest. It's highest in these three. There are many other nutrients also in chloride. So now, Yadu is going to actually explain what is in the ISS, International Space Station.
So this is a prototype of a photobioreactor. Here we have used test tubes, but in reality it's a one single tube that's going like a snake, right? It's going like this, for like in a whole tube or something. So this over here acts as a grow light. Grow light is composed of violet rays, mostly violet rays, red and orange and blue, and white too. So we took white LED because we couldn't get a grow light. So this chlorella needs violet rays mostly. So it has chlorophyll A and B. A needs rays of orange and red and violet and blue, while chlorophyll B needs only orange and red. So chlorophyll A is much stronger than compared to chlorophyll B, and chlorophyll A, I believe, reflects out a yellowish green color, and chlorophyll B reflects out a green color. So this here produces oxygen. It produces a lot amount of oxygen, and the raw materials needed for this for photosynthesis are chlorophyll, which is present in the chlorella, carbon dioxide, which is released by the cabin crew members. This will be situated in a cabin. So the
Who is your guide?
Huh?
Who is your guide? You have some guide here?
No. Yeah.
Our sir. He's our guide.
Yeah.
Another teacher as well.
Which group you are studying? Change the standard. Which biology or mathematics?
No, sir. We don't have streams in it. We actually, it's just subject. So science itself, chemistry, physics, biology. We are having periods.
Chemistry, physics, and biology.
Yeah.
No mathematics.
Yeah, but of course mathematics as well.
So as
Physics, chemistry also.
Yeah, physics, chemistry, and biology together. It's like science, but different periods each day.
But this subject deals more with what subject? Biology?
biology and chemistry. Yeah.
If you want to become an expert on this, you should be more familiar with those terms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So as I was explaining, the raw materials, and we need water to be used in a photobioreactor, except the biomass produced by it can't be consumed because it's urine. So it wouldn't be human to consume what has been grown in urine, right? So
Is it a cycling or what?
yeah, it's a cycle. It's a cycle. It produces oxygen and biomass both. This biomass can be consumed, but when it grows in urine, we wouldn't consume it, right? So like that, I have covered carbon dioxide, chlorophyll, and water. Then the next is the light source. So as I told you, grow light, which is composed of violet rays, blue rays, red rays, orange rays, and white rays.
These are going to be having an application in space, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. When do you think that we will have this application?
As a matter of fact, American and German scientists have already worked on this. They have already created a prototype in ISS and tested it too. But this just is like a normal still model. But in reality, it costs a bit high for the production of this. But once we understand or we may take alternatives for chlorella. For example, spirulina is an alternative for chlorella. It costs less. It costs less than chlorella. That also can be used. And as technology,
Spirulina costs more, like that.
No, actually,
no,
it costs less.
it costs less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost less. Chlorella was more expensive than spirulina.
For the same gram,
Yeah.
for the same amount of gram. And for consumption, we use chlorella that doesn't have cell wall. For example, if it has cell wall, it will be harder for digestion, right? So scientists use chlorella without cell wall. So it breaks apart very fast, the cells, and many cells break apart when it's in a photobioreactor. So we in a maybe in a 2 months, by the time of 2 months, we must replace it.
But the space, when you go for big space application, normally you use compressed food.
Yes,
Which are very lightweight and
Yeah.
not your.
But this also helps in oxygen production. For example, not only space.
No, I'm just asking you to consider your food itself is going to be different.
Yes,
The outcome will be different.
Yes.
But you are having this has some limited application, right?
Yeah, this has the technology for chlorella as application is space is now limited. For now, not only space, but we can use this in mass. Once we begin colonization or habitation in mass, mass.
So for longer periods it can be used.
Yeah, it can be.
Because this chlorella, we said that it produces more oxygen than a normal green plant. So if it produces more oxygen,
So good, nice to hear.
actually,
Future applications, nice.
so we actually going to conduct an experiment. Of course, we can't just say by our own words. Of course, they've proven it, but we have to also prove it by ourselves. That is the main thing, our purpose here. If we just say chlorella has more oxygen, produces more oxygen.
Now I'm able to get your spirit behind it, but the whole thing.
Because chlorella has the highest chlorophyll content than any other
green plant.
green algae.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the lesson is you use a lot of chlorophyll in your daily life.
I mean,
I couldn't hear. Can you say again?
No, I'm saying that we have something like these green leaves,
Yeah.
which we are supposed to use it more, but we never use it.
Yeah, that's what I want to prove here. Here, like there's a green plant and a chlorella. So we are going to see which produces more oxygen. We put one bowl over here, and we are going to see which emits more oxygen.
and we got incense sticks. So what happens is that if there is more oxygen, the incense stick will burn out faster and it will glow more. So that's what we're going to prove here. That's the whole point of it, our whole purpose here. Of course, incense sticks.
So
We'll be doing this experiment.
So I would just, it's as you can see, it's almost the.
It's the same equal level, and also the
level, right?
both the masses of
It's almost
the
equal level, right?
Yeah.
So
Both the mass of chlorella and the plant is equal, so it should happen.
it will take a long time, but you can see it's much faster over here rather
We
than.
have to get it.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
So we can, from this itself, we prove that chlorella produces more oxygen than a normal green plant.
Okay, good.
That's it actually. At the end, we want to fill a feedback from you, tell us how we did, and give us suggestions for the future.
No, I won't be able to give any suggestions like a class.
You could tell us.
You can tell us,
You
right?
should tell us.
Yeah.
Give us suggestions.
Yeah, because for example, if it's in a future exhibit, we are using this, then we can upgrade this to a level.
Nothing is perfect, right? It has its own mistakes. So we could. give
So
suggestions.
it's difficult to give any meaningful suggestion during this short
Yes.
But one thing, sir, we would like to say to maybe improve this. For example, we might use this for the future experiment. Maybe or future
No,
exhibition.
for you to say that you should digest whatever you are telling. It is you have done 1 year full work, right?
No, yeah. Not like not two to 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks.
Anyway, take care.
Okay, sir, thank you. Oh, sir, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So much.
Okay, take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Habitation. Yeah. I don't know how much time we have in each place.
Yes. Like our main focus was to check if building a space habitat in space is like possible. So like what is a space habitat? It's like
What's your name?
my name is Advait. This is Nihal.
Nihal, okay.
So like space habitat is something that's like a more advanced form of living quarters rather than a space station, and also it's like a permanent settlement.
Yeah, tell me. I'm listening.
So like it can also be built in or on a body other than the Earth, like the Mars, Moon, or an asteroid. So like So like why do we need a space habitat? So mainly like if there is a disaster happening on Earth, so like it can help in the survival of human civilization and the biosphere, and also like it can take the industry off the Earth. Also the benefits of the space habitat are that it has access to solar energy. So we all know that space has an abundance of light produced by the sun. So like this can amount to a large amount of energy. So this energy can be used to produce electricity to like provide light to the growing plants in the habitat, and also the in situ resource utilization. It's like the space habitats can be supplied by many resources from the extraterrestrial places like Mars, Moon, and like one could produce breathing oxygen, drinking water, food, and rocket fuel from the materials in the asteroids. Like in the asteroid belt, one can build like the space habitat can be built like the size of like 3,000 Earths. Okay, so it can also act as a passenger compartment to like many spacecrafts.
So you said you need this life-sustaining materials in space in case there is some kind of a problem in the Earth, right? But one will wait till that time, or one will go before that. For example, if you want to do something, you will have to go into outer space to do all these experiments.
Yeah, we could like plan a bit earlier to like set it out.
You get my point. I'm telling you something which you don't understand.
It's like if
so supposing you want to go to Mars, how do you live there? That is a basic question, right? Or you go to Moon, how do you live there?
Like you're asking the requirements, right?
Not only the requirements, in what way you see, there is no oxygen there, you know.
Yeah.
So how are you going to breathe?
So like some amount of oxygen can be imported from Earth, then nitrogen can be in the form of ammonia from many asteroids, then and also we can include.
So some amount can be taken from here, and the remaining thing has to be created there. How do you propose to create it?
By from some comets and other planets.
When you are talking about habitation, you should provide all those things which are required for it. Correct? Who is working? Nice.
Also we have used like acrylic paint here in the background. So like also the form board will like expose it.
Nice.
Thank you, sir.
Introduce yourself.
Good morning, sir. My name is Muhammad Farhan. I'm in grade 12. And that is my friend Adarsh. And my name is Cyril. I'm also grade 12. My name is Matthew. Grade 11. Sir, how are you doing today?
Fine.
Okay, so, when we talk about space, we wonder a lot about it. As people, we always have looked at the stars and wondered what lies beyond it. And we as human beings, we are related to each other biologically, to the earth, we are related, chemically, and to the universe atomically. So, when it comes to space, scientists have always tried to study and research more about what is in space. And the issue with researching space is that it's a very long journey. Plus, there's a shortage of food that they can have over there. So we as a team, we try to remove this barrier so that they can grow plants in Mars itself, so that they can continue their experiments without facing any food shortages. And the way we do it, the whole project revolves around a reaction, an electrolysis reaction of percolate brine solution that is present underground in Mars. And
you think there is a solution in Mars?
Yes, it is proven.
Okay.
It is proven. And the way we are going to do it is that this reaction that we have over here is going to be used to power a greenhouse which we call the red oasis of life. And the reaction will be explained by me.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Yeah. Growing plants on Mars will be a major step forward for us because now we are able to grow food on Mars, right? So we have a few plants have a few requirements, right? The main requirements are water and oxygen. Carbon dioxide is already abundantly present in the atmosphere. So the things that are not present on Mars is water and oxygen. So we need some way to produce water and oxygen on Mars. This is exactly what Professor Vijay Ramani and his team back in 2020 proposed. They proposed an electrolysis setup in Mars where they would mine brine liquid which is present underwater, which is present under the surface of Mars. So they would perform electrolysis on the brine water, which is MCl, which is a metal perchlorate salt and water. They would perform electrolysis on that and form hydrogen gas and oxygen gas and a salt that we don't need. Hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. Now hydrogen can be used as fuel. It can also be combined with water to produce very pure water that we can now provide to plants. So that is what we have proposed here. You can see the pipes go down to the under the surface. How
about the temperature?
Temperature on Mars is negative. What? Yeah, minus 36 degrees Celsius. Annual temperature are around that. Liquid water does not exist at that temperature. But when a metal perchlorate is dissolved in water, it depresses the freezing point of the water. Right? It depresses the freezing point of water. So the solution can exist at that temperature. So this way, electrolysis can be performed on the liquid solution. Water can be purified from this. So you can see liquid water is being extracted. This is the mine. Liquid water pipes are going down under the surface. The solution is being extracted. Electrolysis is performed, and we can see the pipes. Now we'll explain. Matthew will explain the rest of the setup.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. So, sir, as we know, like for the growth of the plants, we require water and also oxygen. So here, after the electrolysis, the oxygen that is produced here is supplied to the greenhouse for the respiration of the plants, and also the rest of the oxygen that is remaining, it is used for the production of water in the water plants, and also their water formation takes place. There is also hydrogen that is also it is used as a fuel for the rockets that come, and also the hydrogen is used for this production of water. That process is used, and then it is supplied to the plants for irrigation purpose. And also, sir, the soil that we have used, the soil is present in Mars itself. So it is a composition of soil in Mars. It is very similar to that of Earth. And also, if there is any deficiency in nutrients or something, like we can use manure in the form of nitrogen, potassium, or phosphorus. And also, sir, the gravity in Mars is low as compared to the Earth. So the amount of water that is required for the growth of the plants is less as the percolation rate is low. Here, sir, we have used high temperature quartz glass that is used to provide the pressure required for the plants, and also it shields this greenhouse from all the UV radiations. And so you can see here LED lights that's powered by the solar panels. This represents solar panels. This provides it acts.
This is a lot of ifs and buts, no? It involves so many things, so many.
Yes, sir. There's no way to actually check unless we actually try and do it on Mars.
No, it is difficult, but the point is that it is a good consummate. You can think of. At least you are able to address which are all the requirements like temperature, like freezing points and pressure and things like that. Good, nice, keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, take care. Thank you, sir.
Sir, one more. Just one more.
He's not going to
Not going to
ഇതേ ഉള്ളൂ. പക്ഷേ കുട്ടികൾക്കൊരു ഇമ്പ്രഷനാണ്, അവർക്കൊരു ഇൻസ്പിറേഷൻ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ സാറ്
എല്ലാവരും അവനവൻ്റെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ ബേസ്ഡോടെ ഗൈഡൻസ് ഇല്ലാത്ത
സന്തോഷം.
Introduce yourself. Okay.
So, good morning, sir. This is our project, registration simulator, and our main objective is to evaluate the effects of microgravity on plant growth in comparison to normal gravity. And our main aim is successive space.
So, are you going to test, are you going to assess the effect of microgravity on vegetation or effect of vegetation on microgravity?
Effect of microgravity on vegetation.
Okay.
So our main aim is successful space farming and with minimal assistance from Earth. And to achieve this, the understanding of microgravity effects on plants is extremely crucial and essential. So that's what our project is based on.
You have taken some basic data from somewhere, right?
Yes, sir.
Evidence. But good morning. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Fine.
Welcome. He is our sponsor. Also.
Welcome, welcome.
And yes, help the school in a very big. That's great.
Welcome, welcome to our school and our place.
You had been to India?
Many
times. Okay,
Many
that's
times.
great.
Actually, Emirates and India is the relation more than people thinking like normal. No, it's abnormal.
Yeah, long back. Yes,
long
the
back.
relation goes long back. Yes.
And always the Indian is supporting us in the economy here.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Okay. Thank you. So, guys, you got some data from somewhere?
Yes. So the data we got from a few experiments done by Carl H. Lichtenstein. We got like all these research papers from like this website called ResearchGate. Yes, so we got all this information from that.
Who is it?
Physics actually, Sajina. So, plants are grown on Earth. They grow during a phenomenon known as geotropism. So, in that, there are certain cells in this plant known as stature.
How do you create microgravity in the laboratory?
So like the petri dishes, it's having the horizontal axis and it's just perpendicular to the gravity. So what we are creating is a microgravity situation is being created over here. So even under microgravity, plants are still growing. So there is actually potential for plants to grow in space out there. So that is what we are aiming here.
We are rotating the petri dish in 180 degrees angles so that it has multiple axes of direction.
Okay.
That's it. And the micropile of the seeds are like in the
All and stuff. The duration of weightlessness is actually like 5 to 8 minutes. But here, as long as the power cell is working, the microgravity will be induced.
That's good.
Yes, sir.
All right, we have to go through so many things. I'm interested in it.
Yes,
time. Come on, let's go.
Yes, sir.
Please push
Thank
the
you,
button.
sir.
Thank you. Hello. വീഡിയോ ചാനലിലേക്ക് കാണിക്കുന്നതൊക്കെ എനിക്ക് കുഴപ്പമില്ല എല്ലാവരും ദൈവത്തിൻ്റെ ഇങ്ങനെ പോസ്റ്റ് കൊടുക്കുന്നത് സംസാരിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്
Anita, you want just Anita come. She's in the department. She's been telling I want to use the one for sides here.
വണ്ടി എവിടെ വേണേ
Thank you, ma'am.
There is a mission that Modi wants to launch by March 2028. It's the Emirates mission to the asteroid belt. Asteroid belt, as you probably know, consists of like remnants of the solar system. So they want to use it to unearth the origin of.
Yeah, tell me, I'm not getting your name.
So it's like, sir,
What is your name, I asked?
Oh, my name, Aisha Shu. My name is Shreya.
Shreya, tell me.
Yes. So the asteroid belt, as you probably know, consists of water-rich asteroids. So the scientists, they want to know what other resources these asteroids may contain. And there is an asteroid named Justitia in the asteroid belt, which is red in color. All the other asteroids are mostly bluish in color. So there are theories that the Justitia asteroid belongs to the Kuiper belt, it has origins from there. So there are a number of theories that they want to prove, and plus if they find resources and we are able to extract these resources from the asteroid belt, then it could lead to an exceptional profit to UAE especially and to humanity overall. The explorer that is going to carry out the mission is named MPR after Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. It's going to deploy a landing craft so that it can.
Keep it open, yeah.
It's going to deploy a landing craft so that we can land on Justitia. It's going to pass by 6 asteroids starting from 108 Westerwald, and after passing by 6 asteroids, it's going to terminate on the 7th asteroid, which is Justitia, the red one.
So the MPR Explorer consists of 4 science instruments. We have a mid-wavelength infrared spectrometer and high resolution cameras and infrared explorers. So this will help in assisting the origin, geological history, and violet matters and temperatures, thermal physical properties of asteroids. And it will also assess the potential resources of asteroids. So we will be preparing a future where we extract resources from asteroids. So, and let's look at the pathway. So MPR Explorer will be launched on March 3, 2028. And it is said to have a 13 years mission, 6 years of development and 7 years of exploration.
It's already on the development side?
Yeah, like they are.
Who is doing?
This is conducted by startup companies, private startup companies.
What is the name of the company?
The company name has not yet revealed.
It's still a working process.
It's in a working process. We had we got information.
How many startups you have in this country on these space missions?
I think one I know is UAE Space Agency that is in Dubai.
No, that is not a startup. That is a primary
Yeah.
company.
There are a number of startup companies.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, but like
they're gonna. It's going to be UAE Space Agency and plus the University of Colorado's Boulder's Laboratory of Atmospheric and.
You have anything to
Space
do with
Physics?
those laboratories?
Huh? No, it was the same university which helped in the Hope probe mission. So this is sort of a follow-up on that mission. That mission had proven to be very successful, so they want to go beyond Mars now. That was a Martian mission. This is beyond Mars in the asteroid belt.
Good. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We can do one project, one project and one poster. We have already informed all
making. Something to explain this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Basically,
Satellite tech for sustainable future. Yeah, tell me.
yes. So basically, we know that remote sensing technology has been gaining relevance in today's society and world. So we decided to implement that for a sustainable future. Like we have found out innovative ways to use this technology and correspond it with United Nations goals for sustainable development, the sustainable development goals which are to be fulfilled by 2030. So we have divided our project into 3 parts: application in biodiversity, application in renewable energy, like promotion of renewable energy, and in land use. So there is also a plus point to our project, which is that we used old things which are available at our house. So to create this project, like we've used straws, bubble wrap, and newspaper and bottles. And this is our satellite, which uses solar panels.
You have seen this remote sensing satellites?
Sorry?
You have seen remote sensing satellites?
No.
Have you seen?
Have you seen?
No, but Google.
Google you have seen. You can see, in case when you come to India, you can see the remote sensing satellites by the real remote sensing.
We would love to. Yes.
Yeah, you are all Indians, right?
Yes, yes.
You can come to India, go to ISAC.
Sir, do they have access?
Yeah, no problem.
Even if they come
They will
to
show you.
ISRO and all those. So
If you anything on
restrictions are
satellites, you
there.
can come to ISAC, that is the ISRO Satellite Center. Today it is known as your house Satellite Center. You can come, they will show you. I think in our, the real
Will they give permission for the
yes,
students?
yes. If you don't get permission, give me a ring.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
They will
That's
give
very,
permission.
that's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. So small. Which standard you are? Ninth. Okay.
The children want one picture with me.
Why not?
Okay, quickly, huh?
I'll get up.
It's okay. It's okay.
No, just ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಡ ಬೇಡ ಯಾರೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ
Bring it back. Alright, quickly, boys. Alright, look up. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I can get back to you. Okay, thank you.
Global Indian School Fair. What is this? Good morning. What's your name?
Myself, Ibrahim.
Ibrahim.
So our topic is the new frontier of technology and innovation in space.
Okay.
So first we have the portable nuclear reactor.
Sir, in the moon, the USA found a new living organism which doesn't need oxygen. So for making that 100% sure, they're building a moon base. And for building a moon base and researching on that, they need an energy, right? So solar panel is the basic what we are having now. But we can't use it because many weeks will go without sunlight. So for that, they are using a portable nuclear reactor. So this is the radiant, and this is the engine, and this is the core. From the core, the radiant will be converted into as energy.
So next we have the Axiom space suit, which is built by the Axiom group and contains of $220.5 million used.
So the speciality and the uniqueness of this suit is, so in space when normal astronauts go, they feel a difficulty that when they wear a normal suit, the moon dust will get inside, and that will cause space hay fever, which is very dangerous for the astronauts.
No, what are we explaining here? You are explaining category 2 project. What is the category 2 project?
Category 2, this is for 8, 11, 12.
Yeah. Yeah, but what is your project?
Your project is we explain.
Now it's the whole thing. It's like the innovations which
It's a
is
portable nuclear
These are the
reactor.
four innovations.
So can I say that your project is to create a portable reactor? Is that
reactor?
nuclear
So
reactor?
these all are projects.
Because
No, he's asking what is the basic thing. So your project is about what?
It's about innovation on space.
Innovation.
So these are the innovations, new innovation, which is not.
No, you are talking about the suit, and then you are also talking about the solar panel, then you are talking about the nuclear reactors. There is like complete confusion on there.
You just explain what is it.
You understand Malayalam?
Yeah. So these all are new technologies. So we are explaining.
Oh, each one you have.
Each new technologies in the company.
So what is the technology you have innovated for the suit?
In this suit, when when normal astronauts go, in the normal astronaut suit, the moon dust will get in, which will cause space hay fever, which is very dangerous. But in this space suit, when they wear, it will not get in. It is 100% safe. And second thing is, in this.
But how do you ensure that?
Sir, we build it like that.
But how? You have a problem. Now you are solving the problem. But do you understand how you solve the problem?
Sir, the material is changed. And then they experimented this.
No, it's okay, fine. Then how about the reactors? Nuclear reactors. Are they having any special requirement? Any special requirement?
This will be released in 2028.
Okay.
So this is the idea. And this one is, second thing is, we can move flexibly.
Where from you get this input from your projects? You have done some science magazines or some Google?
From libraries and Google.
Anyway, it's good. Nice idea thinking.
Thank you, sir. So next we have the space AC satellite, which it's a satellite in space, which gives an output to the whole globe, all on Earth. As in like, my friend, you can tell more about it.
So when now in the Earth, when a network is here, for example, it is here, it will cover the range here, right? But now the Nokia AST satellite is planning to keep a tower in the space. In this, it will cover the whole globe range. So from anywhere to anywhere we can call. We'll not, if you're stuck in Sahara also, you can call.
Okay, good. Nice. Okay, let's go.
Thank you, sir.
Who? Somebody is pushing this car?
Yeah, he's leading. This side.
Yeah.
Ma'am, yeah.
This side.
That side is not there.
No. We have asked all the best project and studying and explaining.
Human brain and effect of stress on. What's your name?
Varsha, myself.
Varsha.
And I'm Zamra.
Zamra. Yes, Zamra. Tell me.
So good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning to everyone. So stress is prompt in this generation, and we all are common to stress. We all get stressed out.
We can start a topic by a quote by Hansel. It's not stress that kills us, it's our own reaction to it.
So coming to our main topic, human brain and effect of stress on it, we could like to tell this poster will aim to provide a clear and visualizing appealing presentation on how the brain responds to stress.
The different ways that stress can affect humans is by mood, brain effects, and physical and behavioral effects.
So these are the 4 stages how stress can affect us. So the first stage is mood effects. So our mood keeps on swinging. Our moods keeps on swinging, and we have a sense of isolation and loneliness.
In brain, how it will affect our brain? We will have lost memories. Then we will only try to find the negative parts of our comments. We will keep positive sides.
How do you overcome all these things? How do you overcome this? For example, you feel lonely. How do you want to
Yes, the fun fact is like small kids can play jigsaw puzzle, and it will help in releasing the stress. It will help in relieving the stress.
We have to always keep our mind engaged in some work.
So you are always keeping your mind engaged in some work.
So we are students, right, sir? So we have to always.
That is good. Anyway, you speak very good English. Nice to hear that. It's good for communication. You speak Malayalam also.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Sir,
Nice one. It's a general. It's nothing to do with space, in my opinion. It is generally one would be interested in knowing how to get out of this stress building.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So the group photo. Ready? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
You're the teacher, no?
Go on.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, where should we go? Everything is here.
Which one? This one?
Welcome to our presentation on Luna through Google. Have you ever looked at the sky and wondered what it would be like to traverse our celestial neighbor? Would that even be possible for the average Joe? And if possible, how much would it cost? Or would it even be affordable for the common man? We have the answer to all these questions in our presentation of Luna.
Now, if you please direct your attention to the enclosure, what we have here is a miniaturized model of a lunar rover powered by solar panels, and it would be equipped with a high-definition camera which would transmit live visuals from the moon back to specialized booths on Earth, which would simulate the lunar landscape and the environment. As you can see right here. This would allow viewers to have a first-hand experience of the moon, even if you throw a live camera.
Good. What is your special consideration for this design? What is your consideration special?
Yeah, it's basically what we're thinking. There will be booths on Earth that people can use to explore moon, like kind of like a flight simulator. So basically, they'll buy tickets.
The lunar surface you are considering?
Yeah, basically the lunar surface.
And the gravity you are considering?
Yeah, like you can go there and one person on his own can control a remote control rover and can explore the moon surface. And there are more behaviors also. Like it will create a lot of returns on the
You
investment.
have a feel of how the what do you call this fellow will look like or something.
Yeah, they'll like get to explore the lunar surface, and it will help create and inspire the young minds of the across the world. And you can also use this for collecting scientific data. We chose the moon because it's the closest ancestral cohort to a planet, and right now it's the most plausible one. In the future, maybe if the technology allows it, we can branch out to other planets.
Good, let's go. Yeah, nice one.
Then which one? Which?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, introduce yourself. You are so smiling.
Introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Alia Tazin. I'm from Habitat School.
And I'm Fahima Ismail from Habitat School.
So today we are going to see about a detector that we have created by our own ideas. So now let's get into the topic and we will learn more about it in our poster. So the solution, there has been a lot of issues of people living in the earth and the space and everything. So we have made a detector which can detect the amount of oxygen and sunlight on other planets, which will be available for in the future generations.
And in this poster there are 5 planets given, and then a detector and a graph. This graph shows the amount of oxygen, nitrogen and sunlight of Earth. And this poster has a background of a galaxy which gives its aesthetic appeal.
We have made a detector which detects the amount of sunlight and oxygen. This detector is innovative in the future environment. It has a sensor which senses the amount of oxygen and sunlight and lets us know.
The sensors are connected to a microcontroller which processes the signals and gives us accurate readings on how much nitrogen, oxygen and sunlight are there on the planets. This detector can be injected onto the surface of these planets or placed above, and you can get the accurate readings. This detector is used to analyze each planet.
What do you do with this data?
Yeah, you can make life hospitable on each planet by using the data.
Like knowing the oxygen?
Yeah, the level of, you can know the level of oxygen, sunlight, nitrogen, and then you can compare it with Earth and you can increase or decrease the amount of...
But where do you position the detector itself? Where do you position the detector?
We place it on top of the surface or we inject it on the top of the surface.
On the planet
on the
itself.
planet. Yes. By help of the astronauts and the developed technology, we can go and inject it.
Okay, good, nice. Therefore, you place it on the planet. You should have means to go there, right?
Yeah, we'll be working on this more and.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Just think it over.
Currently, our team SCC Spacecraft Crew is working on the development. It's not fully developed yet, but we hope in the future we can develop it.
Very good, very good. Good, good ambition, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's do it fast.
Nine class level? Nine.
Okay, ready? Ready?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Wow. Thank you. Thanks, sir. Thank you. Something is smoking there.
A very warm good morning to one and all of you. We are the students of GACE. I am Siddhiraj Prajapati. Daniel. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Anand.
I'm Vedananda. Okay, so we are here with one of the most fascinating objects in the universe. Can you guess what is this?
It's trying to understand. You wrote there wormholes.
Yeah. This is a wormhole, sir.
Yeah.
So to understand this, we need to first understand black holes, and to do that, we'll first understand how gravity works.
So many years ago, scientists thought that our space was like a wooden plank, which cannot be bent or be flexible. Then Einstein came with his general theory of relativity, saying that massive objects like stars or black holes can bend the fabric of space-time. Suppose this is the fabric of space-time. Okay, this is a massive object. As you can see, if I put this object here, one curve is happening now. This is due to gravity.
Okay. So as we know, an object with mass bends the space-time. If we concentrate its mass too much at one point, so you would have heard of the Schwarzschild's radius, right? So if the mass, if the radius becomes less than that, the object becomes a black hole. So for example, if I take Earth and I reduce its size with the same mass to around 10 millimeters, it would become a black hole. The black hole is an object from which even light cannot escape. It's extremely dense. Now Daniel would be explaining about wormholes.
Just like black holes, wormholes are another fascinating thing that exists in the universe. What are wormholes? In simple ways, and wormholes are hypothetically tunnels which exist in the universe which can be used to transport matter through them. Who discovered wormholes? The discovery of wormholes goes back dating to 1916 when it was discovered by Ludwig Lamb, but later it was developed. The theory was developed by Einstein, Albert Einstein, and Nathan Rosen in 1935. Therefore, black holes are also called as Einstein-Rosen bridges. How wormholes form? According to Einstein's theory of general relativity, when massive objects such as black holes or stars, they exert an immense amount of gravitational pull, due to which these heavy objects can bend the fabric of space and time, and the bending of the space and time result in the formation of wormholes. This will be explained by Dina.
So wormholes have an entry and exit point.
and the entry point is a black hole. Black holes are nothing but like entry point which takes in all matter and does not allow light to escape. And the exit point is a white hole. The white hole is like the quite opposite of a black hole. It's like a big bang. It lets out all matter, and it's like it emits out light and doesn't allow anything to enter. Today we are mainly focusing on traversable wormholes which humans can pass through like from one point to another. So there are mainly three conditions that make a wormhole crossable. The first one being there should be no event horizon. The no event horizon, like event horizon means there should be it's like a black boundary around like inside the wormhole which doesn't even allow light to pass through. So the crossing of a wormhole is quite difficult. And the second one is the size of the wormhole. If this size is not perfect for humans to cross, the gravitational pull can affect the.
You have understood the whole concept of what you are talking. I mean,
yes,
conceptually, what is a black hole?
Yes, sir, I have studied.
You have some guides to help you, right?
Yeah, and YouTube videos like explaining how they work and these.
You could get the feel of it. I'm just curious to know.
Yes, sir. That's why I was very interested in this. That's why I started like join the group regarding space theme.
You could get the feel of it.
Yes, yes. I was very interested.
And what is your intention? You want to take up the physics part of it later in your studies, or you
I'm still planning on that, but hopefully, like if I get more
What standard you are studying? 11th?
Computer science.
No, 11th.
Yeah, 11th.
You are 11th.
Science stream. Yes.
So you want to take up the next one is 12th, and then.
Yes, 12th.
And then.
So I'm still planning. I'm either going to the like astronomical part, like where I can study more about space.
So you are going to take up pure science. Am I correct?
Yes, pure science. Yes.
Which institute you are going to choose?
Yes, sir, that is what I'm still
learning about. Can I intervene? Sir, if you want to study astrophysics or something related to astronomy, the best industries, like best universities in India, probably IIT Indore or Madras, something like that. But it's
necessarily IIT Madras or TIFRs you have seen.
Sorry, sir?
Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. Indian Institute of Science, for example, I have studied.
I haven't heard about it, but we can.
No, it is good because we do not get much of the students for the pure science.
Okay.
So if you have the flyer for it, it's better to orient yourself towards that.
Sure.
And get going. Honestly, it is a very difficult subject to learn, both astrophysics as well as aerophysics. But if you have the flyer, you better do it. Take care of yourself. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Come on. Okay. Ready. I didn't want to cut their enthusiasm.
No.
Voice.
Come. Teachers.
Teachers also students. Teachers.
Get ready? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste, sir.
In the camera. Is something you are going to show me?
Yes.
Right. Looks like a rocket.
Yes. Our project is about
space science. Fuel efficient. Very interesting.
Now, usually a rocket has two solid boosters consume about 11,000 pounds of fuel per second. And a Apollo space shuttle took about 8.5 minutes to lift off. So basically, when we calculate it, it consumes about 5,610,000 pounds of fuel, which is a lot. Cities, all cars can go in this straight speed and consume that much of fuel. And the fuel that is used is liquid hydrogen. It is not harmful to the environment, but indirectly it causes the pollution, which I will be discussing in the later slides. We have made a water rocket instead of fuel. So basically, instead of hydrogen, we are using water to apply the thrust on the base. But according to the site, it tells that 3.5 million kg of fuel thrust is required to lift off a rocket. And when we calculate the force, it roughly becomes around 35 million of the Newton force. Also, we know that the acceleration of the rocket is 90 meter per second square, through which it pushes downwards. And by Newton's second law of motion, F is equal to ma, the mass of water that will be required is 400,000 kgs.
Now here you can see a video of my friend pumping air into the water. It will increase the water pressure, air pressure in the rocket, and it will help us propel the water, which will push down the water from the nozzle and air pressure.
As we cannot show it in here due to the space conditions, we have done it in a...
So tell me how you propose to convert the potential energy, namely the pressure energy.
The pressure is the potential energy here.
Yeah.
So this as much more the pressure, more the potential energy. So when the air pressure reaches a certain limit, the bottle, right, it will escape, and then the air pressure pushes the water down.
No, the pressure alone cannot be the criteria to give you the necessary thrust.
Yeah, it can be, but since the air escapes very quickly when it's released, we can't use the air for...
You are proposing to use water as the fuel, as a fuel. You are sure about it? Anywhere you have read this or what?
Sir, it's basically, we have not read this, but the thing is, the water, it will just allow it for initial takeoff. But after it goes to a certain limit, it will use fuel. But we can save a
So you are using it for giving the initial kick?
Yes, sir,
initial boost?
Yes,
like a booster stage. So air pressure is
this
the
is the
fuel.
diagram. So basically, here is the pump of what we did. There is water stored in the rocket, in the down part. And there is on the launch pad, it will just drop out the water with an acceleration of 90 meter per second square, and then the rocket will just take an initial start. After it reaches a certain height, it will go to the fuel. This is our proposed idea. And now some FAQs.
Let's go. It's a booster you are trying to use.
Yes, sir.
Booster. Okay, good. Good luck. But it has a lot of difficulties. You please understand that.
Yes, sir, of course, but it is our imagination, our idea.
Yeah, your imagination is good, but you must understand there is not even one bucket available with this water as a booster in the world. So, but try, your imagination is good.
Yes, sir, we want to contribute something to the environment and to the space. So
no,
this, if it...
No, I am trying to correct you in the following manner. Yes. The environment, if you want to correct it, that's a different project. You should identify this clearly. Supposing you don't want to burn anything and pollute the atmosphere, you don't burn rocket at all. You can't.
Yes.
You can't. So it is a mandatory requirement that you will be using the pollution part of it. You can't escape from that.
Yes, sir, we can't escape, but we can reduce
Yeah.
to some extent.
No, you can reduce it. I'm trying to correct your focus.
Yes, sir, I'm getting it.
Tomorrow when you get into this field, you will have this problem.
Yes.
You will have sound problem. You will have decibels. All kinds of things will come. But you should have a focus. Your focus is what? Your focus is suddenly it has to be reduced. I agree with you. These are philosophies.
Yes.
It should be there. But your aim is to go up.
To go up, yes.
To go up, you want. That's going to be a decisive factor tomorrow. If you want to go up, this is a force. This force is required.
Yeah, we can do it.
Another word, confusion part is I'm trying to confuse.
Sir,
don't confuse it with those philosophies.
Yes, sir.
Just go as a propulsion engineer.
Yes, sir, we will research on it in our upper studies, and of course we will contribute something to this.
We are in high school still, so like...
No problem,
after
I'm very happy.
Yes, sir. Yeah, hopefully we will...
No, I'm just only trying to correct your focus.
Yes, sir, we will surely take that.
Yeah, don't...
try
somebody
to
will say, don't pollute air. Ask him to mind his business.
Yes, sir, that is not possible in today's environment.
Because if you are worried about it, you can never design a rocket.
Yes, it's just not about the atmosphere, also like less cost also. Like,
yeah, I
tons of money
understand.
will be saved.
I understand. I'm basically a propulsion engineer, so you know, that is my job. Okay. I'm coming for the first time job which is relating directly to my specialization. It's a direct solution.
We were really interested about rockets, so
It's a good
sort
thing.
of doing something.
Don't leave it.
Yes, sir, we won't.
Let's
We
go.
will try to continue
Take
this
one
way.
photo. Indian school has stand for the
This is the project that you You didn't explain this.
Yes, stand. All the teachers, please move a little.
Okay, ready? Ready, one more. Okay, next.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ready, let's go. ആരെങ്കിലും ഒരാൾ ബാക്കർ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നാൽ ഇത് കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ഫാസ്റ്റ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പറ്റുന്നില്ല.
One project, okay? This is the project.
This one?
This project. Okay.
Yeah.
It's very good morning, sir.
Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Aisha, and it is more than an honor. We're more than delighted to see you here. Yeah. So we're here to talk about the model here, which is the James Webb Space Telescope, and our very own innovative model over here, the Hive. Yeah. So the recent reports have shown that the JWST was struck by a microwave. For that reason, since the JWST is too far into space and we can't reach it, we have innovated our innovation, the Hive. The Hive is a cuticle structure made up of beryllium and hydrogen. The reason why it's made up of beryllium is because it's really strong and lightweight. And then we have the solar panels. Since the sun is the obvious source of energy there, we are using the solar panels to electrify the Hive.
AI and CNN is used to analyze the satellites. The pictures of the satellite is taken every nanoseconds, making sure that any damage is there, it is found. And the processed information will be sent to our drones right here. These drones will be moving out of the Hive into the space to the James Webb Telescope and repairing it. So here are some features that we have added to our drone. It will be using a high-resolution camera. A multi-tool hand system will be used, and it will also be using advanced sensors like tactile sensors, inertial sensors, and plasma sensors. And this main set-top box right here will be programmed with codes. So when the drones are out in the space there, it will generate its own solution and repair it. And these recharging pads will attach itself to the Hive and get recharged every now and then. So we are telling you our Hive is the best repair mechanism for this JWST. Even though, not just because of its advanced technology, but also because of its high durability. So since we didn't begin it with a code, let's end it with a code. As famously once said by William Blake, what is once was imagined. So thank you for your attention. Thank you so much.
Good. Nice job.
Thank you, sir.
Let's go.
Yeah, you can take one photo. All of you. All of you stand. Fast, fast. Photograph. Yes, all of the teachers are. Some of you. Teachers.
Okay, ready? Some ready? Okay, one more. Okay.
Good, good, good. എന്നെ കറങ്ങി കൊണ്ടിരുന്നാൽ നിങ്ങൾ സമയം പോകും എത്ര സമയത്തിലായി മണി എത്രയായി
10:45. Group photo എടുത്തോ? Excuse me.
Where do you start? Good morning to all of you.
Start from here? Yeah.
Mars.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So our group, we are
we are presenting on the topic habitable planets in the solar system. So this project here, it shows a Mars settlement that has been launched part by part from Earth to Mars, and after orbiting for some time, it will settle on the surface of Mars to form this Mars settlement. And the reason why Mars is chosen out of all the planets is because it has quite similar conditions to that of Earth. For example, the temperature, it is much colder, but we can manage it using solar panels. Second is the surface, which is solid but dusty. This dust is high in chlorine, but it won't affect us as long as we remain inside the settlement. Next, and the most important point which makes Mars habitable, is the fact that it has water right below the surface in the form of ice and in the liquid state, which we can easily obtain using drilling or laser machines.
So you might have heard from my colleague here that how we're going to Mars. Okay? So let's see the way how we're going to travel from Earth to Mars. So you might have been working about Starship, which is a spaceship that was developed by Elon Musk, and he sent that to Mars. But due to some errors, you have to blow it up with nuclear. So imagine we can save that. We can save that resources. Imagine instead of wasting that much money, but can we save this rocket instead of blowing it up? So we developed a system called GOT, Gyro Operate Thrusters. So what this does is it has 4 thrusters on each point. So if there's a tilt dictated by the rocket via a gyro, it will instantly change the coordinates and just calculate it and make it up. So for an example, let me show you. This is a display running it. Any tilt is being dictated over here. Yeah. Every tilt is being dictated. So if you attach 4 thrusters on each side, if it's tilting to one side, you can just casually attach thrusters going with power. Just connect the coordinates of it. Go straight. Imagine it fails. Imagine there's a blackout. Imagine the main thruster fails. You want to land it. Imagine people are in it. Safety. So imagine you want to land it. Just going to bring it down at a slow pace and just going to land. Just going to keep it safe back on Earth. So now Ashley is actually going to explain what a settlement is.
So now we'll look at the Mars settlement in detail. So this Mars settlement, it will be sent part by part from Earth to Mars, as the total Mars settlement will weigh around 4 lakh kilograms. So in order to make it lightweight, scientists use materials such as titanium, Kevlar and high-grade steel to make it lightweight, but it will also be effective and resistant. The main purpose of this Mars settlement is that scientists can live on Mars to conduct research and also make the habitat sustainable and suitable for human civilization in the future. So of course, if scientists want to live here, they need oxygen, they need water, they need a suitable temperature. The temperature is maintained by a system called active thermal control system, and the oxygen is derived from the water through a process called electrolysis, which separates the water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen using the electricity trapped by the solar panels.
So as Ashley explained, it is on the surface. So we are talking about a habitation under the surface of Mars. That is, the tunnels that are already created by the lava that was present before in Mars created huge tunnels in the present. Okay, these tunnels are known as lava tubes or lava tunnels. So we are thinking, see, the tunnels have roofs that are tens of meters thick. This can protect us from the surface stuff that are happening on the surface, such as micrometeorites, dust storms, etc. So basically it has a roof that's tens of meters thick, and like the habitation that we created, we need oxygen, water supply. For that we have created a process.
Why should it go under the surface? And we keep it above the surface.
So above the surface we face problems such as micrometeorites, dust storms, to protect us from those.
No, to make a hole and then go down.
No, it's not a hole, it's already created.
No, for that you have to spend additional energy and money, no?
No sir, we are just renovating the tunnels.
How are you saying renovating? You are already creating it.
The tunnels are already created.
Lava tunnels are created by lava on
Mars before.
So yeah, back in the days we used to do lava in Mars, and that's been created there. Now it's solidified and we're going to use that. So it's going to be useful for us. It's been created back in the days, millions of years ago.
This lava cooled and solidified to make this tunnels.
You don't have to make any additional.
No. These are just tunnels. These have been discovered by the.
Not in the shape and type what you wanted. There is some kind of vacant space available, but not the type and size you are asking for.
No, sir. These are like huge tunnels. So like renovating is possible. So making it into a habitation is actually
You're not going to use
cost
the entire tunnel. You're just going to use a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to cover the part and just spread the oxygen and different sources onto it.
Okay, good.
So it's actually an entire project.
Sir, this is one full project.
Unless he pushes me, I can't come there.
So I will be now explaining why we can't choose the rest of the planets, why only Mars. So let's start with Mercury, which is the smallest planet and closest to the Sun. Mercury, it's impossible to live on it because of the extreme solar radiation, high temperatures and a thin atmosphere, which makes it impossible to breathe. But at the same time, Mercury does have water frozen at both of its poles, but right now we do not have the technology to access it. Next is Venus, which is the hottest planet. It is permanently shrouded.
So you have studied all the planets?
Yes.
Okay.
It is permanently shrouded in clouds of carbon dioxide and sulfuric acid, and the surface of Venus is extremely rocky with high volcanoes, some of which are still active. Next is Jupiter, which is the largest planet. Jupiter and Saturn are quite similar as they are giant balls of gases made of hydrogen and helium. Its atmosphere has water and ammonia. It's impossible to land on both of them, but these two planets have moons which could possibly support life, such as Europa of Jupiter and Titan and Enceladus of Saturn. Next is Neptune and Uranus, which are both again similar. They're made of, their atmosphere is made of water, ammonia and methane, and their surface is made of hydrogen and helium. Again, it's impossible to land on them, but we can't even enter the atmosphere of Uranus because of their extremely high atmospheric pressure.
Now, sir, we are going to talk about how we are launching projectiles through Mars. As you know, Mars has only the 38% of the gravity of Earth. So what we have created is called something called the Mars driver. The Mars driver, it launches projectiles using electromagnets. The payload has a magnetizable rotor, which then is pulled towards it through the electromagnets, and then the coils actually off. So it
how much time you spend on this kind of projects in your school studies?
More than
but a lot of time you spend.
Yes, sir.
So supposing you are finishing your studies here, then afterwards what are you going to do?
So we are going to planning to develop the idea of
Do you have any idea where you will get in?
We have to discuss.
The school is going to provide you some arena where you will be studying.
So we are not sure about that.
And then have you ever thought of it? If you are interested, having studied, for example, all the planets and its characteristics and all, is good.
Yes, sir.
So you have to plan what your future is going to be, and that future depends on which institute you want to go and how you want to do it. Not all. It's some people I find very interesting for them to do, so you have to plan it accordingly.
Yes, sir.
You have to plan right now. Already you are late.
And sir has said if you want to go and see ISRO, he will give the permission.
Sir,
Get the permission for them.
Can I ask you one thing?
Yeah.
So we have 3 or 4 ideas are in-house ideas. So we just made them up by ourselves.
Three
For
of-
example,
three-
3 ideas created by our own self. Mars driver, then gyro operated thrusters and lava tubes. So we want to research more about it and find resources and to do more about it. So if you can help us or connect someone
Nobody
who can
will help you.
So
No,
if we
let
can
me
connect
put it-
us with
no,
someone
let
who
me- let me
has
put it
more
this way.
details.
I'll tell you why I said it. You should understand. ISRO has a set goal. They have PSLVs, GSLVs, they have so many things. So they will have time only to do that, they will have only money to do that.
We don't need the money. If you get the
No, no.
so someone
when-
who has the idea.
Yeah, that someone to talk to you for hours, you need money. You need to spend money for it. We don't have such a cell. So what we can suggest to you is, suppose you have an innovative idea. If it is really innovative, we really don't know how innovative they are. It could have a lot of ignorances, lot of fantasies, so on and so forth. So you make up a paper. That paper should be self-explanatory. Then send it to Chairman ISRO, and if it is interesting, he will look at it, or he will guide you. But the probabilities are that we don't have a separate cell for that. So this is one problem you have. But on the other hand, with your kind of thinking what you have, you should locate, at this stage you can't become a scientist. You have to become a scientist, at least minimum graduation. So to become a graduate, you should locate the correct institute. That institute, you should locate it and then try to correspond with them right now for your admission and things like that. In the process, if you get it, you get admission there, you study. Then your fallacies or your fancies will become reality, different kinds of things. See, even far away from now, what you want to do also, there are people who are doing research. Immediate also, they are doing research. So, I am guiding you that don't expect ISRO to come to your help. ISRO suddenly, if you want to look at it, they will help you.
Can go and see.
There is no problem. If you want to look at what is a remote sensing satellite, what is those things, they will help you. There is no problem. But that's not the end of it. But if you want somebody to listen to you in depth, I am not listening to you in depth. I am listening to you peripherally. And sometimes I just don't want to discourage you or encourage you. Just look at it in that sense. But most important thing is you want somebody to listen to you by applying his mind. And then they will say it is a good idea, it is a bad idea, or it is not a relevant idea. Then you should and that way you want to reach that. We don't have a cell for that. We don't have any cell wherein you will, because assume that you are talking about Mars. You are talking about Mars, right?
Yes, sir.
We have a Mars mission. Now that Mars mission, you must understand the difference between yours and that Mars mission. That Mars mission is how to reach Mars. You got the point?
Yes, sir.
So what are the interplanetary pulls and pushes and what route you have to take, when to jump from this elliptical path to Mars path, and then how to circle it around and then how to land it and all. These are the things which will come in the Mars mission. In an exaggerated way, if I may say, the Mars mission project man may not even know that Mars has some kind of brine solution or some kind of tunnel and some kind of you don't expect him to do it. Because we focus it for the project. So if that is your conception, then you have to think, because you are now doing in a freelance scale. That is okay, that is good. As a student of 10th and 11th standard, it is good. So you should apply your mind and then try to.
So I have a doubt about GOT. There are 4 thrusters on each point. So we want to make it as cheaper as possible. So can you tell us, we have planned to use ionic thrusters. So can you give us more details about ionic thrusters?
No, you have. Ion propulsion you have, but the problem is we started years back, 1973. Then we didn't do further work on that because we never found an application for it. See, ISRO is a time puncturing organization. We have a commitment. We say that this mission will go, GAGAN mission will go in 2024.
So if you use that ionic thruster, it's going to be way cheaper, right, compared to other thrusters?
No, you are right. There are such innovative ideas are there. All are good, bad, ugly. We can't implement it. But there is a process of implementing it. It takes time.
Okay, boys, come for the photograph.
Our chief guest will speak to you
He'll
a
be
little bit
speaking
later.
after 12.
Okay, everybody will get
Okay, come. All of you, come fast. Come fast, come fast. Come fast.
Some of the teachers, some of the teachers.
We have our project the Odyssey to the outer space, which is the journey to the outer space. Our project unravels in multiple stages, with each stage being linked to one another. It starts with the launching of a GAGAN. Conducted in the ice. So, starting with the first stage, it's a of listen. So, SLE is to the G's with a height of about 15 tons at the time of the liftoff. Next, it is multiple engine and propulsion systems. So taking a comparison, here we are taking a comparison between PSLV, which is the polar system, and the PSLV stages. For the PSLV, it is an alternate, the fuel is an alternate between solid and liquid, but then when it comes to GSLV, only the first solid fuel, which the further propellant systems will be explained by, but giving an introduction. Getting back to GSLV, that the first is the solid, so we'll be using the solid fuel, which is a solid rocket motor. Then for the second stage, which is L40, which is one of your biggest contributions. We can give tribute to you for that, the Vikas engine. We'll be using the Vikas engine. Furthermore, it will be given by Avantika. Next is our the cryogenic system, the CUS system, cryogenic upper stage. So getting back to the structure of our project, it is aligned in a vertical column with ignition happening in a sequence, and the shedding of the weight happens on the basis of the depletion of fuel. That is, the ignition happens, and after reaching a certain stage in the atmosphere, the shedding of the weight occurs, reducing the weight and thus giving a thrust to move the rocket forward. For the stages on the application of it, we can say that the first stage is to create an initial thrust or a force to push, to get rid of the Earth's gravitational force and to push the...
Where from you got all this information on GSLV?
The ISRO website as a whole.
ISRO website.
That's a lot of information.
And do you understand the whole thing?
Yes, sir.
You fully understand?
Yeah. And I've got some questions for you. Yeah.
No, that's okay. Asking question is easy.
Yeah, it is based. I'll keep it as a surprise. So here, the first stage is to get rid of the Earth's gravitational force and to lift off the vehicle. There we use majority of the propellant systems, and the shedding of the different stages occur there on the basis of the depletion of the fuel. For the second stage, then later...
You said Vikas engine is my contribution.
Yeah, you have contributed...
But do you know who is the contributor for the solid engine?
Solid engine. I'm sorry, sir.
In terms of 850 tons or something like that. Close to... But you don't know the name of the scientist who made that solid engine?
I'm sure I've seen something with J, but I can't recall his name.
No, nobody's talking about it. That is our system.
Yeah.
Anyway, incidentally, his name is Rajaram Nagappa. He is the person who developed it. Anyway, I think we will need more time to listen to this entire thing, but it's a good project. But you should, instead of concentrating on far away from now, if you can do something in the near future projects, like you are talking about GAGAN project, for example, and somebody was talking about Mars mission getting built up, and that's nothing but a space station concept. So how do you propose to put the space station concept? That kind of a thing. It will be more useful, more immediate. In our lifetime, it will take place. Otherwise, it will be beyond our lifetime. Good. Nice.
It's not completed yet. So for the second stage, it is to propel the vehicle into the outer space, for which we have engine and propellant system that are optimized for the vacuum environment. Next, Avantika will be giving a more insight into the propellant systems that are used in the GSLV.
So, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So, its first stage is the S139 stage. It is a solid rocket motor with 4 strap-on boosters, which helps it to lift up into the thrust.
4 strap-ons or 2 strap-ons?
4 strap-ons.
You are talking about GSLV or you are talking about some other vehicle?
GSLV, sir.
GSLV has 4 strap-ons.
Yes.
4 strap-ons. Are you sure? I thought it is 22 strap-ons. No, in my memory I could be wrong, but I think it is 22 strap-ons.
I will question my knowledge now.
Because 150 tons into 2 comes to 300 tons. Now if it is 4, it is 600 tons. So the takeoff
helps to move into the higher space with the
GSLV का शरीर
Ready. Okay.
Some can sit down in case the whole lot of your... Ria, come down. That chant behind, come wait please. Thank you. Thank you.
They would start calling them. Pretty inconvenient, and that takes a lot of time. And there's a lot of scope for you to not feel very great. So, our smart walking stick, which is our project, has a solution for that. it has a SOS button with which you can call emergency and assistance instantly, and it can send your location and your health information to a companion app. This is just one of the problems which a smart walking stick solves. Nigel here will explain about the other problems which the visually impaired and the elderly might face.
There are millions of visually impaired individuals around the world and thousands in the United Arab Emirates. They also face increased risks of accidents due to their mobility challenges, and also their opportunities are hindered. Now, Vishal will explain the app.
So basically the app has a location sensor as well as heart rate and SpO2, which is the oxygen level. So for example, you just put your finger right here in the walking stick. It will show the heart rate as well as the current BPM of the person. As well as when you click track my location, the location of the current location will display.
So these are basically the so-called smart watches in the other functionality. The smart watches smart watches.
Smart watches.
That's functional. Like emergency call, you can press. Like you can give the location.
Far more cheaper, and it is the blind can use it.
Is it something to do with space? Are you trying
No,
to
sir,
do
this
something?
is life science.
This is life science.
The
Oh,
project for
right.
9th and 10th it is life science. The
Okay.
theme is.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's okay, nice.
Sir, the main function is actually the sensor. So you can sense objects. So you can actually, if you would like, you could.
You can commercially exploit it actually.
Huh?
If you really make it good, you can commercially
So we
exploit
have
it.
actually done a funding and pricing for this. So actually the bulk price of all these components are 85 dirhams. So we are planning to sell it at 100 dirhams, which is 15 dirhams profit per unit. Now our expenses we have calculated per year, it will be 218,000, considering we are making 100,000 units of these. That means the profit we would get from this is?
No, the success depends on such electronic products keep changing very quickly.
Yes, yes.
Your concept can be copied by somebody tomorrow, just tomorrow. So if you want to make quick money, you just immediately hand it over to somebody so that you can take money. Your profit and things like that will otherwise vanish.
Yes, sir. This is like a prototype. We have not actually made.
No,
the
you can make a prototype.
Yes.
There is nothing big about it.
Yes, sir. Like in the final product, we plan to keep the wires inside.
Good,
this.
good, good. No, no, all those things can be.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cosmetics.
Yes, cosmetics.
So like using the investments that we receive, we will improve the quality of our product.
No, first you make it and then you will improve it.
Yes.
So it is necessary that you make it fast.
Yes.
Yes.
Good, 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 good.
Thank you so much, sir.
That's it.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
It is health that real wealth and not pieces
What
of
standard
gold.
you are studying? What standard?
10th standard, sir.
10th standard.
Good morning.
Oh.
Good morning, sir. It's myself, Haricharan Kaushik.
I'm Adarsh.
So we're going to change the lives of millions.
Our goal is to free people from the constant burden of managing their diabetic treatment, allowing them to live more healthier and fulfilling lives. So we have created an artificial pancreas model. Our aim is to develop a device that can effectively regulate blood glucose levels for people suffering with diabetes, providing them with a life-changing solution.
So what we're going to do here, sir, is for people with diabetes, we're going to combine our knowledge of medical technology, computer science, and endocrinology. So our project has three main components. We have a continuous glucose monitor, an insulin pump, and a control algorithm.
You know, these things are existing already. You know that?
Yes, sir. But here, the existing products are very expensive, and these products make it very simple, sir.
But they have some monitor which keeps monitoring the sugar level, for example, and that gives either a warning or a recording system.
Yes, sir. But sir, you have to input the insulin manually in such systems, and also you have to. There'll be no automatic monitoring system of carbohydrate intake, stress levels, exercise levels. But our system will be able to measure how much stress level is inside the blood and how much carbohydrate the user is intaking.
Stress level they can measure or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Continue.
How do you measure it?
Sir, if the heart's beats per minute, the pulse rate increases, then that means that the stress level.
And also the hormone.
Yeah, they are.
And also there's a hormone called cortisol that is released inside the bloodstream when a person is stressed.
That is good.
Yes.
Where is what stage you are now?
So this is a prototype, sir. So since like instead of measuring the glucose content of like blood and like the insulin, so what we're doing here is we're measuring the electrical conductivity of distilled water and tap water, sir. Since the distilled water is not like a good conductor, it has very low conductivity. So like we are taking the conductivity to be inverse of that glucose, and the insulin is the yellow color tap water. So we've also made a program in Arduino, and like we mark the threshold value. If the conductivity of the distilled water is higher than the threshold, then the insulin will be pumped.
I understand. Now you are trying. Supposing you want, I want to market.
So you can mention the benefits of such.
No need of. I am understanding it fully. I want to market it tomorrow. So what do you give me then?
So
No. Marketing is my job.
Yes,
you give me the product.
Universal selling point.
Yeah.
The selling point.
No, selling point is known.
Yes.
Benefits are known.
Yes.
Workability is known.
Yes.
I want to know where is the product.
At which stage of manufacturing?
Yeah, exactly. Which stage is yours?
So right now it's at prototyping. Then we are
Prototyping is already working. Are you
Yes,
working?
sir. Yes, sir.
not yet.
So you are only analogous. You are working with analogy.
Yes.
Yes, but we also made a working model.
So make a very good working.
So and like carbohydrate intake.
What's your father doing?
Sir, he's a software engineer.
Very good. So you just try to make it most marketable. Then you will be shining like it. Good. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
Alright, students, get together. We'll just take a picture, right, with sir?
With the teacher.
Teachers, yeah.
Because this is a complex combination.
Yes.
Full school. Yes, so this is a
Endocrinology, what is the reason? Diabetology and pancreas working and stress level working. So many things are there.
DPS, could you please come this side? Thank you.
You already have some of the very enterprising and very good characters. You don't have to go. If you go through the Montessori, then you imagine. Go through the Montessori, they will outsmart everything. Yes,
Thank you.
Take care.
Then he'll go into, the minute he reaches Mr. Bones' office,
Our topic was health science and how we're relating this to health science because the impacts of climate change include, health diseases and it affects your mental health also. And then if you look over here, we've made this climate cycle. It's like this and the impacts, so the aftermath of the environment.
So respiratory diseases and diseases, pest-related diseases are caused due to climate change.
And why we've included polar bears over here is because it mostly affects their habitat, It leads to melting of the ice caps and everything which affects their habitat and floods the place.
Somebody will die out of climate change.
Yes.
Good.
We've also included a sample of the grass before climate change affected it and grass after.
Yeah, I understand.
So we'll take a photo. What's that? Okay.
Good. They have gone one. I saw them.
Excuse me, may I have some break, please? Thank you.
Isn't that ideal? Just to see him.
Yeah. They can take a turn.
This project. Okay, this project.
This one. Good.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Very good, sir.
It must be better from the morning onwards. You are very.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it was very exciting. It's our lifetime pleasure, actually.
Tell me.
Yes, sir. Please start. Good morning, sir. We all have heard humans and animals surviving. Model for the space. Now my friend Anisha. As you can see, we get connected in the chip. See, it's outside. It is connected through a tube, and then this is sensed. The carbon is inside the chamber, and when a high amount, it stops the whole carbon dioxide system completely, automatically. And when it realizes that it needs more carbon dioxide, it starts automatically. We have done this with an app called as graphical analysis. Yeah, you can see that there is an amount of 2,220 ppm in this open chamber. Yeah, and then the actual chamber, you need about 1,500 to 1,200 ppm of carbon dioxide for the plants to synthesize food in space.
Good.
And you might wonder why we chose hydrophonic. Oxygen atom. In that way, the hydrogen can also be used by the space station for the movement, as the fuel, and the oxygen by the astronauts.
So basically, there is no waste products here. Yeah, everything is completely recycled.
Good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Photo. Can we stand for photo? All of you. All of you. Come, children. All the students. All the students. Others. Let's come this side.
Okay, ready?
Thank you.
Thank you, take care. Adopt this to some ordinary plantations.
Which project? Huh? That one.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Hamza. Who is Hamza? Yes, Hamza. Tell me. Who is going to tell me? Your name appears first. That's why I asked you, Hamza.
Sir, it's my birthday today. Space is an inspirational reality that allows us to dream big. A very warm morning to you, sir. We, the team of DPS Ajman, are here to present our project Aperio Celestia.
Before we start, what is space debris? Space debris, also called space junk, refers to non-functional satellites, broken components and other particles that orbit around the Earth. Increase in space debris poses a threat against our future ability to venture out into space.
The man-made space environment present today is a direct consequence of the space attempts.
Probe that can collect, recycle and dispose of space debris with the help of bionic arm, which grabs the debris in the vacuum of space. Its core objective is to make an effective system for clearing space debris.
This project will be built with with the collaboration of various space agencies such as NASA, ESA and ISRO, SpaceX also, and because
you are not including China and Russia.
Yes, sir?
You are not including China and Russia. You are saying NASA, Elon Musk and ISRO. We are not talking about China and Russia. No, I'm just saying because they are the maximum space polluters. So they must be. But you know who is the agency who is controlling this space debris? You speak Malayalam? No. You don't know. Okay. Which is the space agency which controls the space debris? Any idea? None of you have an idea. You are talking about space debris and they are going to control, but you don't know which agency which controls this. There is an agency which controls this. UN Outer Space Application.
I have heard about it.
Yeah, they are the people, they are supposed to control this. So if there is debris which are either burned or spent satellites or pieces or failed satellites or accidents, and you propose how to collect it. You are proposing how to collect it.
Yes.
How?
Sir, so first I'll tell the model, the things which we use to make the model. There is cardboard, foam board, then we used paper charts and paper cup and magnetic devices so that we can attract all the magnetic space debris.
This is going to drag.
Yes, sir, it will attract and rest we can grab with the extendable bionic arms.
good. Yeah.
The probe is designed to approach debris autonomously. Its mechanism, with the help of two bionic arms, will grab debris with the use of its extendable claws and electromagnetic arms, which will recycle all sorts of objects. Then these objects will be manually categorized as useful and useless by the control center on the Earth.
The waste that will be captured will be partitioned into two divisions of a cylindrical storage unit system. One consisting of the useful waste and the other one consisting of the useless waste. The useful waste will be that waste that can be recycled or reused, such as functional components and metals, whereas the useless waste will consist of damaged satellites, broken components and other particles which are hazardous.
So how do you propose to dispose it of?
That I will describe right now. So after it's collected and categorized all the waste, it will categorize manually. It will begin the this part will recover from the rest of the road and it will burn up in the atmosphere and turn into dust. And the rest of the parts, these bionic arms and these solar panels, they are retractable and they will return safely through the use of parachutes.
Okay. So you don't order it and then throw it away. You are just trying to bring it back to Earth.
We are disposing of the unusable waste in the atmosphere, which will turn into dust in the.
But that itself is going to pollute the atmosphere. Don't you think so? If these are either dust or big particles, that is going to also pollute the atmosphere. So is it the right way of doing it?
It's not
better to, but again, it's a project, it's a process.
Yes.
How do we get rid of it? So it's a big challenge.
Sir, this compartment is the one which will have the waste product and we'll have separate partitions. This will have the useful recyclable waste debris which we'll bring back, we can utilize them. And so it's not that we are polluting the environment or anything.
Yeah. Is it because it is very worthy and we want to make it something?
So there are some broken satellite parts also which we will bring back.
Do you think it is worth money-wise to bring it back and then reuse it?
Sir, in future space debris will become a big problem, so we
No,
can
probably, as far as I am concerned, I think the debris are a menace.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Correct? So the point is to get rid of the debris.
Yes.
Whether to catch it or crumble it or powder it or throw this, somewhere you have to get hold of the debris and then clear it. I don't think that anything
It's
is
a non-profit.
It's
non-profit. That's why we are collaborating with large agencies, because alone we cannot handle the cost.
No, this is the agency has to be inside. I don't know.
Yeah.
The focus should be how to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, good, nice.
Can I just describe the makeup?
Yeah, I think we have to look at it any further.
Yeah, just one more. So the probe head will be made up of golden colored aluminized polyamide, which is the material to protect like very sensitive components inside. In bionic arms, they'll be made up of CFRPs, carbon fiber reinforced plastic, and they'll have a cloth for grabbing mechanism. And these are ion crystals and this is light and solar panels and zero time for the probe head.
You have conceptually understood the whole thing?
Conceptually, yes. Thank you,
Sir,
sir.
can we request you? Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Photo.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Really good.
Images of the series, they just the main asteroid. It was taken by the launch station.
launch into orbit. That is, it requires a lot of time.
So you are not going to escape Falcon kind of a
Yes, sir. But in Falcon there will be spacecraft that will use to send satellites to other planets. But when we are in space, if we use fuel, fuel will have a mass of itself, and to burn it, and it is inefficient, and fuel doesn't last much. This is a proposal because it is 10 times more efficient.
No, I think you should state that
yes, sir.
Chemical rocket propulsion is not efficient or inefficient is not the right way of putting it.
Not right.
They are all efficient only.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
They are but comparative.
Yeah, you have to say the size of the system is going to be smaller. And propulsion is going to be size. Of course, non-pollution. Nobody bothers about pollution because when you are talking about such a big mission, see, it is not like a car. Car pollutes much more than any other system, correct?
Yes, sir.
So it's not like a car. It is once in a while you are polluting it, so people say bother. So I am just trying to correct your focus.
Yes, sir. So the focus that we have, that is the idea that we are proposing ionic engines is intra-space travel. That is, once we get into orbit, we need to control the spacecrafts that we have. And if we were to use fuel for that purpose also, we would also need to carry that fuel. And also when we burn it up, it can get exhausted quickly. So for a very long mission or a mission that spans perhaps greater distances, how will we use fuel? Because, because of its problems that we face. Ionic engines, on the other hand, the latest models that we have, they can last up to 6 years non-stop. They can work continuously for 6 years. That is being tested. It is known as the X3 Hall thruster in JPL. It is being tested right now. What it could allow us to do is that when once we have reached into space, when we need to go to planets, and when we need to explore, when we need to maneuver the space vehicle in space, we can use ionic engines, and that will allow us to perhaps transcend the boundaries that we have reached right now.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We need to discuss this in detail if
yes,
I have to interact with you.
Yes, sir.
So I am just listening.
Okay. So then there is, I would like to explain to you the working principle of, actually Zian would like to
No, we need not. You can say the working principles of ion principles are known, well known.
Yes, sir. So this is basically it for us. This is what we wanted to propose. Ionic engines as a solution for...
See, actually, I'll tell you, you think about it. You are saying there is a pollution due to chemical rockets.
I don't think pollution is the issue because we don't launch rockets like we drive cars, as you mentioned.
In the ground level, it is pollution.
Yes, sir, there is pollution.
Yeah. But in the upper atmosphere, when you go, your pollution doesn't come in the picture.
Yes, sir.
But there you are using ion propulsion.
Yes, sir.
How are you justifying?
Sir, but I am actually...
You understand the point?
I understood the point, sir. I am not proposing this as a method to reduce pollution. I am proposing this as a method to improve the distances, the range of travel that we can achieve in space. Sir, once we launch a rocket into space, from there will be different stages, and finally we will land on a smaller spacecraft that has to travel the distances. In that spacecraft, if we were to use ionic engines, we could...
Thrust to weight ratio you have heard?
Yes, sir, thrust to weight ratio, that I would like to explain.
That is the most important point here.
Yes, sir.
You are forgetting that one.
Yes, sir.
In fact, that is the only point which comes in favor of ion propulsion.
Yes, sir. See, ionic propulsion, it has a thrust to weight ratio, very high thrust to weight ratio, but because we are only pushing ions, the thrust that we generate at a time is low.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, wonderful. I'll let picture turn on a few. Yeah. Where are you up to? Where's your picture? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Please keep it.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You too.
Got it?
ബിന്ദുവിന്റെ അനിയത്തിയാണ്.
ഇവിടെ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിലെ ഡീനാണ്.
I don't think
Please, sir.
I'm quite sure what he says will be with you for a very long time. Thank you.
Hello friends, it's a privilege to be here with young minds. I was traveling back in my memory, actually, I don't know, maybe about 60-70 years back, and very happy to hear from the younger generation many concepts which I have myself forgotten. I remember I was very much part of a team which was configuring the PSLD and the GSLD. But when I recall today from you what are the concepts of GSLD, I was very much excited to be very frank with you. People who are presented it have thoroughly studied what their concept of JSLD and what their concept of PSLD, etc. I never thought in that most dream of my life that there will be a day where we will be discussing the JSLD configuration 50 years from that date. We were that was in a foreign country where we will be talking about it. So that way, I am grateful to you for having helped me to recall those days which we were toiling. Please understand one thing, when we were working on the GSLD was not there. It was only in our dreams. And the Vikas engine was not there. The satellite was not there. The solid propulsion system was not there. But we were talking about, there are many people who were telling that these are dreams, this may never come true also. But exactly, if not the same configuration which we discussed, they were close to what we were talking about, it has come true. Similarly, you are discussing about the future space missions. How to grow plants there, how to support the life systems there, how to, these things, very interesting. And that too, at this age, young age, when you are talking about all these things just by your book knowledge, or Google or the other textbooks. Very exciting, really. So you are having a better situation than what we were about years back on the GSLD. The difference is, when we were talking about GSLD, there was nothing existing, but at least somebody else was having vehicles. Now today you are talking about life support systems which nobody has in the world, and very interesting. So that shows the level of imagination what you have in talking about it. And I am sure that with this kind of mind, with this kind of a focus, with this kind of an understanding, I am able to see a lot of space scientists coming out of the school, and they should be supporting the space missions of the international community. I am not sure about the Indian community alone, but international communities, because everywhere now Indians are shining in the field of science, technology, and finance, and software, and all the fields. So there is going to be a great hope that we will be helping and contributing to this field also. So I wish you all the best of luck, and thank you so much for having entertained me. And Excuse me, trying to interfere here. I think we need not restrict this to space and life science and all. It can be any question which you feel like, and if you think. It doesn't mean that, it does not mean that I am a master of all the trades, but it only says that I just want to interact with you the way in which you think about it. So I don't want to put any restrictions on this.
Hello. A very good morning to you, sir. Myself, Ajman from grade 11, Global Indian School, Ajman. It's an honor to have you here today. My question is that, sir, you joined ISRO in 1966, and in 1973, ISRO launched an experimental rocket with 600 kg liquid engine, right? And as it had succeeded, ISRO had to strike a deal with the French to co-develop a 60-ton fuel engine, right? So can you please share with us the difficulties you faced while working with these 60-ton liquid engine, as it's like a 100-time jump when compared to the 60-ton engine?
I didn't get your name. What's your name?
Anuja.
Anuja. Anuja is asking me to explain my life history. Actually, I would like to share with you some aspects of that part of the question, not fully. We wanted to do liquid propulsion. So at that time, I was with Dr. Kalam, and he was working on solid propulsion. And the solid propulsion rocket, he named the first rocket was called D1. So not D1, D2. So everybody asked, what is the meaning of D2? Actually, among us, he said, it is a Dreamer 2. Then we thought there will be a Dreamer 1. No, that never was released by him. So he said Dreamer 2. And don't be frightened by that word Dreamer. Dreamer 2 was only a 3-inch diameter rocket. Just imagine 3 inches. That's all. This is size. And then you can ask me how this 3-inch came. 3-inch was the only tube available by Indal aluminum tube, which they made. That's the only extruded tube. That is the size. So that is what decided the D2. Now, at that time, I wanted to do liquid propulsion. So we had no choice. There was no propellant. There was no material. And there was no technology. Not even one rocket was there in solid. At least in solid, it was some rockets were there. But in liquid, there was nothing. So I just started telling. So there was a 600 kg is something which we could conceive it. Then we flew. The material available was only for 2 rockets. Only for 2. And the first one was launched in daytime towards east. People were very much worried this rocket will misbehave. So they didn't allow us to launch from Tumba. So we were driven to Sriharikota. From Sriharikota, we were launching this first rocket. It was a day, sunshine. So you look at it, the sun is right on your eye. And we chose wrongly the time as morning 7:30 or 8 o'clock. So we saw a rocket going up, but we don't know whether it is a success or failure because we have not seen the rocket. and we have not seen the flame, etc. So people who were not having a liking for this liquid rocket started telling this is a bogus, there is no flight, there was no success, etc. So I was forced to launch the second one, that is the only rocket available, in a night, so that there won't be any sunlight, and that too in a crowdless night, so that it won't be hidden from your view. And we didn't have any payload capability, we didn't have any radar. That was the reason why we chose this. So we launched it, 1973. You have rightly said that it went through beautifully. It was a flame and everybody saw that. So that was the first rocket. Then we thought of going to the next step. The next step was a 3-ton. Now the 3-ton came rightly from SAM-7 missile. SAM-7 missile had a 3-ton sustainer. So we said we will do it so that it can be used by the defense also. So we launched it. It was a big blast. It didn't take off. And we understood the reason was combined beating and failures. We tried some 2-3 times, nothing worked. And please understand, for the liquid there was no funding, there was no manpower, there was not only approval, there is no approval, everything was being done without approval, without a project formation, without any funding, nothing. So, one fine morning, we were doing a ground test under 3-ton, improved version. We were to calibrate the system. Many of you may not be able to understand calibration. We have to decide the coefficient of discharge. So we were running the water through the system. But we forgot to understand, each time we use water, that water in Sriharikota has fine dust particles of sand. This sand gets accumulated in the filter, which will alter the coefficient of discharge. So we did not know that. So we went through that, we found out the CD, then we fired it. Again, a very big blast. The liquid rocket system, the entire test stand got damaged. So totally the loss was about 2 lakhs. So I came back with a frustrated heart. The problem was, we were not even able to stop the test because there was no intercommunication between the test facility and the man who is standing outside. That's a sad state of affair. So I thought there is no more point in doing this rocket anymore. Stop it. Call it off a day. So we came back to Madras, and Madras, luckily, the chairman as well as the director of both VSSC and Chairman ISRO, both were, Professor Dhawan and Professor Brahmprakash were there. So I talked to them with the resignation letter of myself. And then he asked, what for? I said, I am totally responsible for the blast today which took place in Sriharikota. And the loss is going to be 2 lakhs. So I want the responsibility, relieve me from this job. He looked at it and he said, you appear to be under emotion, so go and sleep. Tomorrow morning we will discuss it. So next day morning, he took the letter in front of me, he tore it off and then said, what is that you want? I said, I want nothing. I want some, like that I was blah, blah. Then he said, go home and then sleep. Then I said, before going, I said that I want to do a 60-ton engine. He looked at me. We were talking about 600 kg. You failed in 3-ton. Now you want a 20 times bigger. Where from? I said, sir, making a bigger rocket is easier compared to smaller rockets. And also it must be having some application. Anyway, to make a long story short, that is how the 60-ton was born. And that has led to, he said again, I won't give you money, I won't give you manpower, and I won't give you approval. But you do it. Then by the time I had already talked to the French, that is how the Vikas engine contract was born. With no transfer of funds, we never transferred any fund to the French. That was a unique contract in the world where you have no money transfer. And then that technology was later used And today you have the Vikas engine flying successfully more than 53 times without a single failure. That's a long and short story of Vikas engine.
Anyone else who wants to ask a question? Raise your hand, please.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Jishnu Vijay. I'm from 11C. So my question is to you. My question to you is, what, according to you, will be the future of propulsion systems in launch vehicles?
General question. At least I'm not going to tell you what is going to be the future forever. But the immediate future is that we should attain the capability of at least something like about 6 tons in the low Earth orbit, which would mean a high thrust liquid engine in the place of a 60-tonner Vikas engine. At least it should be a 100-tonner. And second thing is, you should have a high thrust cryogenic system or semi-cryogenic system. So with this, we will be able to achieve what we want, including Gaganyaan, including 6 tons in the geosynchronous orbit, including interplanetary missions. Now, afterwards, what happens is something to be seen.
Good morning, sir. I'm Hamna Fatima of Vice Indian Academy studying in grade 11. I just wanted to ask you, how did you overcome the darkest phase of your life? Sir, I just wanted to ask you, how did you overcome the darkest phase of your life? Yes, sir. The other one.
No.
Sir, how did you overcome the darkest phase of your life?
Yeah, the darkest phase she means is the so-called fabricated case. Normally, I'm sure everybody will agree with me that we would like to talk about the good things in the life, not the bad things in the life. Don't you think so? But again, to answer her question, I think it's a sheer willpower with which you determine, that is, I determine myself that this will be exposed. I will prove not only my innocence, but I will also prove that these are the people who fabricated this case. And that alone have given you the result.
Hello, sir. I'm Kannan from Indian School Rasa Kema. I'm in 12th standard now. I want to know why you chose liquid fuel instead of solid boosters when you were making the GSLV, the cars. Sir, why would you choose liquid propellant instead of solid boosters?
Yeah, his question is, why did I choose liquid propulsion when the solid propulsion was in existence? I think the answer is fairly simple. At that time, I'm talking about 1967-68 time frame, most of the missions were achieved by the liquid missions and not by solid missions. Solid boosters had only one application, that is defense. But the liquid missions, liquid propulsion system has a lot of other applications. So, including the V2 rocket of the Germans, which was the first liquid propulsion system, which came into existence. So, we chose, but most interesting thing, many people did not choose that because there is nothing available. You can't do it. See, you don't want to choose something which is difficult. So I happen to choose something is difficult. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, children, very much. This will be the last question which was asked.
Just want to make an announcement. There's also a career fair. Those of you who are interested could go there, and the brochures are there. They will explain to you, all right? So there's also that available. A career fair is also there, right?